Hello, all of you wonderful people out there in podcast land. Welcome to another episode of Black and White Reviews. My name is Will.
My name is Lee.
And my name is Chuck.
Is it?
Is it? You sure?
I'll be back.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
This week we are discussing episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Stranger Things. What are they
Titled
called?
Terminator 1, Terminator 2,
Yeah,
and Terminator Genesis, I believe.
pretty much. That's,
Oh, okay.
They might as well be. They might as well be. They might as well just be called the Terminator episode. Well, at least this first and second one, because of some things that happen. I really don't know the names of these episodes. I didn't pull them up.
Well, the first one was the sauna test.
And
The
the second
sauna
one was the
test.
Flayed.
The flayed.
The Flayed.
Flayed.
Yep. And then the third one, hold on.
Epublius
Oh,
Unma.
E pluribus unum.
Epublius Unum.
It's Latin.
The many one.
It's
the many.
It's
the many one. Just to call. I'm just gonna call it the many one. There you go.
it's on our currency, man. It's part of our country, and we know we can't spell America without Erica.
This is true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Unless her name is Erica with a K, and then you got problems.
I guess so.
Well, with the illiteracy in this country, it would still work.
I suppose.
Probably. Probably. Have either one of you ever seen a little HBO show called The Newsroom? The pilot episode, Jeff Daniels gives this amazing monologue.
That's what that's from.
Yes.
It's so good.
It is
It's like
amazing.
the question was like, why do you think this is the best country ever? And he's just like, this country is horrible.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
And
But
he
just,
basically
like,
gives a
slams this
rundown of
girl.
everything that's wrong with this country and why other countries are like superior for this reason, this reason, this reason.
It was done as like an interview type shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's
Yeah, it's really
fantastic.
good.
He won an
Yeah.
award that year for that.
I'm not
Good for-
surprised.
good for
Specifically
him.
that. He not only won an award that year for best male actor in a leading role, he beat Bryan Cranston
Yeah.
for that, which is wild to me. I'm guessing
That
that's
was the same year.
I'm guessing
when
it's
he was
probably because
playing-
they didn't want to give it to Bryan Cranston like for 5 years in a row. So they were like, we got to break this up. Jeff Daniels. That was good.
So hey, little update for those of you who are watching us right now. We are no longer recording our stuff in a studio. We now have our own stuff. Well, I mean, we had our own stuff before, but we have some new stuff that's allowing us to have this nice, crisp, clean audio for you right from the Jam Cave. So as you can see,
Yeah.
Chuck and I are here together. It's just kind of weird to have him double in the shot, so I go like this.
Yeah.
So we don't have to see him from a
Yeah.
distance. But you can see his beautiful mug
From a distance.
right in his own little box.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No hard feelings, no issue with it. Honestly, I prefer this. I think it's actually a lot more comfortable. And, yeah, we get to just kind of, I mean, at least I just get to go upstairs and go to bed.
True.
So that's nice.
Very true.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who has to drive home.
Yeah,
Well.
and your commute's like twice as long now.
Yes, it is. Literally.
Well, instead of
10
driving,
minutes
so
It's
what?
literally.
Okay.
Yeah, it went from like 3 minutes to 6 minutes.
Well,
Wow.
it's like a good eight or nine.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep. So
So I guess I'm going first since I'm still the
the noob.
noob.
Oh yes, you
Yeah.
are.
So I mean, just to touch upon this though, like we're kind of cruising through this season, and it's how we went through the last season a bit, and like halfway through it, we're just like, let's just go through a few episodes at a time. Now, once
For
we're done
this
with this, we have
season, for this season, because like I said, it's
Yeah,
filler. This is
it's a lot of
very
filler.
season. So
I was gonna recommend, and I just know that whatever for everybody to hear that we do one at a time for the next season, just because of how much it is. And honestly,
agree.
we're not in a rush because we're not gonna see another season of this show until at least 2025. And
more than likely not.
yeah, so I don't think we're gonna be in a huge rush, and I think season 4, there's a lot that comes together from all of these seasons in season 4. And again, you watch it and you go, I don't see where else they're going with this. I don't remember. Maybe I have to rewatch and see. I did, just like many people, binge the show when I first watched it. So some things are lost where I don't remember how it ended. I just don't remember it ending with me saying, I like, what's going to happen next? It was more like, that was a good way to end this, chapter. But I don't remember where they were going. So,
I do. I
Okay.
remember. I vividly remember the finale of season 4. We're not going to get there
Okay.
right now at
Yeah.
all. I'm not even going to hint.
yeah.
But
No, that's way too far ahead. But here, yeah, it's definitely fillerific, and yeah, I not to say that I don't like the season. I think the season's fantastic, and I'm excited to see where it goes. But season 4 is by far the most entertaining part of this show for me. So I think you and I are both just excited to get to that point.
I'm excited
Finally
for,
talk about it.
I'm excited to talk about one thing out of season 4. I'm excited to rant about something else in season 4. And yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited for you talking about a cameo
Murray,
in season 4.
I'm
I
just
think that'll be
excited.
cool.
I'm just excited because I like Murray.
Yeah.
Is like the show like stopper. Like he Murray is amazing.
You realize I haven't seen it yet, right?
Yes, I understand that. We're not like we didn't give anything away. The thing is, these are characters that we're seeing here. These are characters that we understand are here. But the point is, like, as we've seen, Murray when he was first introduced was like the crazy dude that like I've got these conspiracy theories and blah blah blah. And then the next thing you see is that whole scene was how was the pullout, and like just his whole interaction there. And then we see him again in this season. Or I mean, we see him, at this point, and we're like, wow, like, they keep on bringing this character back. They're making him a staple, and it's amazing. Even in these three episodes, he was great, which we'll get into. But anyway, I'll take a step back here and digress.
Go ahead, Chuck. Take it away.
So, I like this. I do like this season.
Mm-hmm.
There's some ridiculousness that does happen, at least in the last episode, that no
Okay.
shouldn't. No, they no, like no,
Okay.
like the fact that this is even happening under a mall in America. No, first off. Second of all, to two 18, 19-year-old kids that are, part-time ice cream scoopers. No.
Who do you work for?
Scoops Ahoy. No.
The USS Butterscotch.
It's just U.S. Butterscotch.
Whatever. No, I thought it was the USS because it's a ship.
No, he was talking about ice cream.
I understand
US
that.
Butterscotch.
Okay, yeah. But that's the point. Is it's about ships because it's Scoops Ahoy, the USS Butterscotch, like that's the name of the ship. That's anyway, whatever. Usually they're called USS, but anyway. Continue.
Sure. Yeah, I think the weird thing for me, which we all know that this is all dealing with the Russians, is I think what's going on is, yes, it's almost like, I hate to say this, the Upside Down, the main craziness that happened in the last 2 seasons dealing with the Upside Down is almost the secondary story, and the Russians are the primary story.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't like that aspect.
Okay.
If it was flipped in reverse and there was more going on with the Upside Down and there was less going on with the Russians, that would make it a better story for me. Outside of that, I enjoy seeing Harrington and Dustin coming together as, big brother, younger brother type scenario. I love that whole thing. I think I said this last time. Erica, to me, she is Donnie Darko's younger sister, and to me, she still is.
Okay.
She's just that irritating, annoying little sister that nobody wants around, and she's super smart and knows it.
Yeah.
I love that Dustin's even smarter and puts her in her place a few times. I think that's fantastic.
Oh yeah. So good.
But everything else, like with Ross and Rachel, this whole scenario with, Nancy and Jonathan. We're together. We're not together. We're together. We're not together.
Yeah, it's just
Leonard
it's just
and
giving
Penny. It's that sitcom experience without it being a sitcom.
True.
I don't know how I feel about that yet. Like, they're obviously getting back together. It is what it is.
Sure.
And then you have this. You have the Max and Lucas, 11 and Mike scenario thing going on, and yeah, there is some parts where 11 becomes 11 again, and
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
she is 11.
I told you.
Yeah, but they could have done without the last 4 episodes where she wasn't 11.
It was giving her a chance to try to explore who she is. And I think she needed to have that moment, that time of growth where she was like, let me try this stuff out, because she did the whole dark punk thing, and then now she did the girly girl thing, and then they're like, okay, I can dress like this, but I'm still me.
But
and
she did the dark punk thing for
A
3
couple- yeah.
for like few scenes.
Yeah.
And then she becomes this girly girl, and she has, outside of a few things that she does, she is still the girly girl. The
Yeah.
13-year-old, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
But when she becomes 11 again and she does these crazy things,
Yeah.
she does it. Like the fact that she's using like a fluorescent scrunchie in her hair to put it back like the half up.
Yeah.
That's not her. That's not her character. And I don't like that. She needs to, like, when she had like the Jean-Claude Van Damme hair combed back, that punk style, that was her.
Okay.
That's what she, like, they found this thing that she fits into, and then they immediately scrapped it and did something different, and I don't like that. Like, they needed to explore that for a lot longer, because she became this, like, this punk rock, crazy, psychotic, and it fit her character and what she does, and then they dumbed it down the very next season, and they did this whole thing with her, and it ruined it.
I this is kind of a double-edged sword for me, because on one hand I agree with you. I think it's way too fast, but on the other hand, like, the show clearly like jumped forward a significant amount of time.
4 months.
They had to do that because of the way the kids age. Like, kids
Yeah.
grow up pretty quick, and especially like over a 2-year time period. Like, they're aging, they went through puberty, everything about their like facial features and everything changed. They look like they're 10 years older, so you had to like advance time somewhere. So there's a huge gap of like
True.
11's life that we didn't get to see. And I think
But there was a bigger gap from season 1 to season 2, and you didn't see a drastic change. There's only a few months from season 2 to season 3. And the gap between season 2 and season 3 and the change is so drastically different compared from 1 to 2. From 1 to 2, the only thing that changed was her hair grew longer. Outside of that, she was still 11. From 2 to 3, she went from 11, who was just, amazing, to a 13-year-old girl who's just like, and it's just dumb. So the only 2 things that really kind of for me with this season is I'm fine with it being filler, because it still is a good season. It's the fact that the whole Russian plot is the primary focus, and
Just get over it. Just get over the Russian thing, okay?
wow.
Okay, so I just won't give my opinion in this podcast.
No. I'm just saying the whole Russian thing. What the heck?
I don't like it.
Okay.
So
I don't
and I
like
don't like
it
the
either.
fact that, and I
I'm
don't
just
like
saying-
the fact that 11 is a 13. I know she's a 13-year-old girl, but I don't like the fact that she is portraying your typical 13-year-old girl, and I don't like that.
Have you ever at any point in your life just done something because you're told that's what you're supposed to do, just to like be in with the crowd for a moment?
Doing it for a moment is one thing, but they keep her there
For a couple of
longer than they
days.
keep. No, they keep her there for a while, more than they kept her in the Punk stage, more than they've kept her in any like.
Right. Well, she's no longer with those people she was dressed like a punk with. She was
I,
with them for a
um,
day.
I think I'm on board with what Chuck is saying about how fast it was, about how she's not 11 anymore, about how like everything about her like aesthetic and her character kind of changed in between season 2 and season 3. Like clearly there was a lot that happened that we didn't get to see, and now 11
Right.
is in this place. When it comes to her and the whole mall and her being the girly girl and the BFFF with Max, it's a bit much. However, I don't know. I don't look at it that way. I almost look at everything that she's going through right now as like she's having like a vacation away from herself,
Yeah.
where she can explore and like try different things and try like on like a different personality and see how it fits and see how she cares about it. Because
Yeah,
when
see what
push
it's
came
like
to
trying
shove,
live as a normal person.
yeah, because when
Yeah.
push came to shove, she very easily like slid back into being 11. But everything
Yeah.
else is like, I kind of, the whole mall thing I'm not on board with. Her and Max, but
Right, that
like
was overboard. That
Her,
was overboard.
Her kind of like taking a step back and not being like the superhero for a little while and just being a 13-year-old girl. I'm kind of okay with it. Like she deserves it, right?
Sure,
Yeah.
I guess.
She just wanted a taste of ice cream. Like that was it. She just wanted that chance.
Sure.
But
Okay.
I see what you're saying. I just think that for storytelling purposes, I'm not surprised they did it. Everybody gets the chance to try on some new clothes and be something else for a little bit. But when push comes to shove,
But this
You
is
know,
not the
then-
Emperor's New Groove.
then
though.
push comes to shove.
Sure. So, I think let's talk about one of the reasons why we're doing 3 episodes at a time, I guess, is because we said it filler. In
Yeah.
terms of like the Stranger Things lore and Stranger Things story, this is another 3 episodes where one big thing happened.
And that's it.
Yeah.
One big thing happened.
Yes.
Where in like season 1, season 2, it was like a big thing happened every episode, or if not every other episode. You got this big bomb, and here
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
first 3 episodes, 1 or 2 major things happened. In these 3 episodes, like there was one thing that happened, and aside from that
That's
one
be-
thing, to Chuck's point, it's all Russians, and I'm fully on board with you with that. I can't stand
Yeah.
it. I can't stand the Russian subplot. I can't stand it. And I especially can't stand that it's like front and center. I think, yeah.
Because first of all, the way that they portray it, it would never happen.
Well, what doesn't make sense about it, I mean, obviously we see what's happening here, and Chuck, you see what's happening. They're doing it because they're the replacement for the lab. The lab is not existent, so they are the replacement for what's going on at this lab. 11's not there; she's with them. So, okay, so who's the governmental issue here? And it's the Russians tied in with local government. So
They're not tied in with local government.
they're not tied in with Robin Hood there?
with Robin Hood.
Yeah. The mayor? Who's basically like
Oh.
giving them passage to do all this? Yeah, I mean we'll talk about it in depth later, but my point is like that's the new like governmental issue is these Russians. They're the new lab, the new Hawkins lab is them because Hawkins lab is no more.
Right.
So it's just that's the focus there. But no, we don't like the Russian thing because it's like it's overdone and ridiculous. Like, well, it's the '80s, so it makes sense.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yay, capitalism. Anyway,
Yay, yeah. We'll get into that
So-
too. Capitalism. Free market
So-
society.
all right. So Chuck, that's pretty much how you feel?
Well, I mean, without getting into
Yeah.
detail, overall, it's still good. I just wish that there was more focus on, what's going on, because the premise of this TV show is the tie between the Upside Down and what's going on here, and they've strayed from that, and that they need to get back from that primarily, and then that would make this season better.
Well, okay.
I mean, I do like Will's explanation as to what is going on. I think it makes total sense.
Yeah.
And I when he does the drawing with his hand and he, wipes his hand on everything.
Yeah.
I think that makes total sense.
Yeah, I like when they have their visual explanations like that, pencils through a piece of paper and
Yeah.
this and that, and it's good to have that, the flea and the acrobat stuff, all of it. It's
Yeah.
nice.
True.
But yeah, I agree with you. It's no longer the main plot is what's happening there because they're so focused on the Russian thing. But if you think about it, obviously the Russian thing is very well tied into the whole Upside Down because that is their focus and goal.
True.
So
and
it's
that's
yeah, it's like in order to get back to that, the Russians have to be the kind of the focus here.
No, because even in the first 2 seasons, the lab was the people that were doing this, but the lab was never the focus. It was
Right.
a side plot, whereas the Upside Down was the focus. If they if they kept in that same vein with the Russians as they did with the lab, it would be fine. But
Yeah.
they flipped the script.
But
and
in
they
the
said
lab, the gate was open. The gate's not open here.
it is open.
Well, I mean, it gets open. We'll
I mean,
talk about that.
it's open, which is why the flayed are all even around, because it is open. It's not fully open, but it's open. It's cracked.
They don't really. No, it almost opened. It opened just enough to reanimate the dust, and then it closed.
No, it didn't. No,
It kind of did. Like it's
the beginning first episode, it
Yes.
opened and then it closed.
yes.
Now, with this newer, bigger shrink ray that they have, it has been open for a while now, which is why everything it's not going to reanimate it and then have the gate closed
I know.
and keep it dead.
I
It's
know, but
Still
There's
open,
hang
which
on, because you're both kind of right. There's like a middle ground here that we
There's
need
a
to-
middle ground. They're
that
not
we
really
need to agree
explaining.
on, where it's open but it's healing, but it's being activated again, and it's not like
they're
when they
trying
have
to,
their
so it's like
when they have their big discussion, with Murray, and he's like doing the whole translating thing. Like it's what
Yeah.
I took away from a lot of that conversation was, it's kind of there, it's kind of open. We did a boo boo, so
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's not to the extent that it was in season 2.
no.
Of course not.
And in the first
even season
episode, when they had the meltdown, you see it kind of open up, and then it closes.
yes.
Yeah.
Now, without fully getting into it, they're underground and they have this thing on, and it is keeping it. Now the thing is the gate's trying to close itself, but this thing is keeping it open, and because that is the only reason why the smoke monster, or in this case the gut monster, the gooey rat monster, is able to be alive,
The rat
is
blob.
because the gate from here to the Upside Down is remaining open. If it wasn't for that, then that would ruin. If the gate was closed and this thing was still animated, that would actually discount everything that happened in the first 2 seasons, and it would make it it'd make it not even real.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
then, so it has to be open. It has to be open for this all to work out. Because if it's not the case, season 1 and season 2 are null and void. They're moot.
It's open enough for things to be happening.
Right, it's not fully open.
Yeah, it's open enough
cracked.
for things to be. Yeah, it's open enough for
Right.
things to be happening. So
Right.
Do you want to transition us
Transition?
into spoiler
Yeah,
territory?
I don't think we have to go into anything.
Yeah, so at this
otherwise.
point in time, if you want to see the rest of this conversation and enjoy our lovely mugs while we're talking about this, find us on patreon.com/blackandwhitereviews. On there, we got some great goodies, some great bonuses, some great extra content, and you get some great merch as well too. You can find us all over social media you can find us on Facebook at Black and White Reviews. You can find us on Instagram and YouTube, the YouTubes at Black and White Reviews 1866.
Yep.
All of our audio will always be free and full on any podcast site, Spotify, Google Podcasts, if they're still going to do that, Apple Podcasts, the whole thing. But with that being said, we're going to slip right into spoiler territory, and we're going to go from there.